just after first light here at Camp Strip in Pietermaritzburg, and an hour and a half before the first batches get underway, the 1998 Far Dusi Canoe Marathon. Hello everybody and welcome to our coverage of this prestigious race, and now the second biggest of its kind in the world. Kevin White, former winner, looking at who'll be up there at the end of the day in 3 days' time. Who do you think it'll be?
I think this year definitely Wayne Bollock and Kelby Murray are definitely the guys to watch. They're definitely the fittest, and then I think there's a big group of about 5 or 6 of us who are all relatively fit and unknown at this stage.
Wayne Bollock's got to be the favourite because of his form up till now, but then experience counts a great deal in this race, and Kevin White will be there, and Gavin Carr I think is going to be a big one. And then we're looking for dark horses. Young Len Jenkins, really looking great.
Most of the top guys that we've spoken to today in interviews have made you one of the favourites. What do you feel about that mantle right now?
Yeah, no, a lot of guys have put a lot of pressure on me, obviously from a past season I've had. Obviously today's going to be a really hard day. The sun's coming out. I'm just going to have to go out there, pace myself, do my own race, don't sort of keep up with the top runners. And it's a 3-day race. I'm not too concerned if I don't win today. It's not a problem. I just would like to keep in contact with the leaders and be 4 to 5 minutes behind, and I'll be very happy with it.
Kelby Murray, last year's winners in the doubles. Does that put pressure on you to do what Mark Ferrer has done before, but trying to win this thing in a singles?
Every race is different, Oni. Last year's doubles race is a lot different to this singles race. With the exclusion of my partner and start due to his leg injury as well as Mark, I feel it's just throwing the field wide open, and there's about 5 or 6 people that could pull it off today.
But what about some of the more glamorous so-called fish and chips like Dr. Kamalu, who sat in the boat behind veteran Oscar Chalupsky?
Seems a little bit nervous now that he's seen the river. He hasn't seen the first word, but he's a natural sportsman, and I think he's going to do well.
Doctor, this is slightly different to bashing a soccer ball around the stadiums of the world, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Before, like 2 days ago, I thought it was going to be an easy thing, but it doesn't look like.
You're looking a little worried, I must say, are you?
I am worried.
Then, of course, there were the old Dusi rats like Tim Cornish and the Dusi king himself, Graham Pope Ellis.
I think I would rather have been a spectator today to watch the excitement up front. I think it's going to be a lot of changing of first and second positions all the way through the first day today.
It's going to be a hard race, and it's all for the best. I'll try all my best to make sure I finish.
A race like the Dusi doesn't become as big as it has without lots of organisation going into it. Chairman for the past 5 years, Nigel Tatham, now joins us. Nigel, did you ever see it ending up like this?
It's certainly bigger than we hoped for, but it's grown really as a result of wonderful commercial backing, and we're delighted with the way the event is today.
With a clock at 0700, it was time for the race to begin for a field of more than 1,500 paddlers. Just 1 kilometre from the gun in the Ernie Pierce Square was where a whole lot of the field and even some of the top contenders got cut down to size pretty quickly. Misfortune was also in store for the focused Kelby Murray, who lost valuable time at this first obstacle after a swim. Some made it look oh so easy. Others provided amusement for the spectators. For those who feared the long drop over the fish chute, a balancing act was installed to get around it. And for the slightly less experienced like Dr. Kamalu with driver Oscar Chalupsky, the big drop was a big test with somewhat predictable results. Hold on, Doc. Then there were those who came fully prepared. Don't know what for, though.
Dusi sickness. No, leave that alone. Leave that alone.
Hi everybody. Yeah, you must video him. He's going to do well on the Dusi. Check how young he is. Hello, Ma.
Special chop chest to your dad.
And this is Biden?
Yep. He didn't get his gel done yet. He normally does the gel thing for the Dusi.
Baie lekker geslaap net, hè?
Lekker slaap. Kierien is ons af en dan weer 'n vuurtjie op.
Nou, ek voel nie baie lekker nie. Dink jy hy het my vergiftig gestaan? Hy het ons pasta gemaak en ek dink hy het iets aangegooi wat nie baie lekker was nie.
Dit is special,
nie lekker
special
nie.
eet. Power eet, special eet.
So hy sal maar vandag lekker Canoe vat.
Ja.
Ja, ons voel baie sterk vanoggend hoor. Dit het vir 'n great reis wees. Ver hardloop. Sunshine nou in die son gaan warm wees.
Ja.
Kerels, julle moet hulle kry.
Hey, after seeing that brown eye this morning, I'm very positive.
What's going to happen today?
Today we're going to run. We're going to run until we get stronger. Hey, Dan.
Okay, we're from Joburg. There's 4 of us paddling here. We've got the biggest Dusi supporter crowd in the whole country. There's about 12 people here. It's my 6th Dusi, and friends are doing the 22nd Dusi. Actually, Graham Paul and Eddie Hahn have got the most Dusis together as doubles. Water conditions are looking pretty full, especially some big, huge water.
The Kings are doing the Dusi.
Look forward to it. Shouldn't be too difficult. Those are hooligans there. Come on, hooligans.
We are the second in hooligans. The Kings. That is the almighty King 2, and that's King 1 over there.
I've got a bit of a battle today because I've got to dice against old Pope, and you know what my chances are. But anyway, I'll give him a good go, even though I'm paddling on a white water boat. You know, let's pray that he breaks his boat. My only chance.
One of the favourites for this race, obviously the rivalry between you and Wendy is big. So how has your training gone this year?
Oh no, it's gone well. I've had quite a nice preparation for the race, and hopefully I've done enough.
Back at the start, some of the later batches got underway on this 3-day epic race to the sea and the KwaZulu-Natal holiday capital, Durban. By now, the leaders had reached low-level bridge at the 8-kilometer mark. With the river fullish and flowing nicely, the most common option was to stay on the water, like Volek does here, but a few of the contenders did opt for the more cautious long run. On the Campbell's Farm Portage, Kingfisher Club's Wayne Volek kept the punters happy by setting the pace, but behind him competition was holding up, with the other hungry favourites chasing hard. With the bulk of the paddlers, low-level bridge became a bustle as the field that arrived had to make their way around this obstacle. Front, a new face appeared in Western Province's Martin Dreyer, who found himself behind Kevin White as they headed off to Campbell's Farm Portage. At the hole-in-the-wall portage at 16 k's, the tables were turned as Volek had surrendered the lead to Neisner-based Martin Dreyer, who suddenly and rather unexpectedly found himself in the lead as the field surged towards the Guinea fowl takeout. A difficult run was ahead. Following close behind him was Adrian Enthoven, John Edmonds, Kevin White, with Volek now relegated to 5th spot and losing ground rapidly. Campbell's Farm checkpoint, the stream of boats were thickening, and looking strong was Tubile Ngwane, who attempts the race for the first time in a single. This section was a test to both competitors and spectators. All were relieved to get back on the water, and the spectators were happy just to keep their toes.
Ah, thanks.
But the relief only lasted until Mission Rapid. Here, completely different skills were needed to stay in the running. was clear that the gaps were closing at the front, and at Cabbage Tree Portage, the top 5 paddlers were all in sight of each other. This was where things went awry for salmon fisherman Martin Dreyer, who took the wrong line down to the river. That put him in 200 metres down on Edmonds and Murray. At the finish of day 1 then, the wily old fox Edmonds in the lead, with youngster Kelby Murray a mere 12 seconds in arrears.
I've gone into a steady rhythm, but I just don't know what to do about John. He just gets better every year.
Now, John, obviously you're in position A+ at this stage, particularly with tomorrow ahead. Tell us how you're going to approach things.
Yeah, tomorrow's always my nemesis, but I'll just have to be more positive about tomorrow.
In the women's race, 1997 K1 champion Wendy White took the honours with 41 seconds to spare over Debbie Whitten, with Lorna Oliver in a distant third.
And I was lucky, they threw in Cabbage Tree right at the end and allowed me to get just a minute ahead of Debbie, whereas she had been a minute ahead of me prior to that.
Coming through, had a tremendous day. Obviously, in first time I would suggest in about 13th, 14th position, and when you look down on that, that is amazing that he was in his mid-50s, and some of the guys that he was challenging today weren't even born when he raced. They got to have a tremendous day. Sadler behind him, what about that? And I'm sorry, I'll try and pick up the other guys here. And Brian. And Brian. guys behind me obviously had quite a good day too. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do some previous reviews, so I'm going to be off there.
He's not capable.
Sitting in 17th position in T14, which makes him 10 minutes. Just the lead of the race. Phenomenal performances with Buckley, Lynn Jenkins, Junior, who's up there in 6th place, and Grandpa Phillips in 17th place. There'll be a couple of guys disappointed today. Don't be bad from the pack and other races. But really is a lady who can run a very, very good standard marathon. Both of them have won this race in the past.
With what has become a tradition at the first overnight stop, the shield ceremony, day one could be relived in the 10th town as night fell over preparations for the second day of the race.
Up ahead, it's just less than 40 kilometers from here at the Dusi Bridge to the finish of Day 2 at the Inanda Dam. Just 3 minutes and 33 seconds, or 213 seconds, separate the top 6. And this is what some of those men had to say about the day ahead on Day 2.
I'm with Kevin White. He knows the river really well. Lots of tricky sections today. I've got to, at all costs, try and stay with him.
Nobody was firing yesterday, so I think we're waiting to see if somebody fires on all cylinders today.
Every day is different. I'm just going to treat this as a brand new race.
Adrian Enthoven, your strategy ahead of Day 2?
Arnie, I'm with Kevin White. He knows the river really well. Lots of tricky sections today. I've got to, at all costs, try and stay with him and just follow him down, and then hopefully get onto the dam in reasonably good nick and have a good paddle across the dam. But I've got to stay with Kevin or one of the other Italians going along the first 3/4 of the race before the dam.
Can the youngsters upset the apple cart and win the Dusi?
Oh, I don't know. It's still very much an open race. I mean, the guys are tightly packed in at the front there. Wayne Volek is still very much in the race. Calby Murray's going very well. He's up there. It's going to be very interesting to see. There's a lot of room for messing up today. Anything can really happen now, I think.
John Oliver, you've been involved with the race for 11 years in various capacities. The times that we saw on Day 1 yesterday, how do they compare to times of years gone by?
A little bit slower than record times. Record times on the Dusi are a bit difficult because we quite often change the course. I think 3 or 4 years ago we moved the campsite up above the bridge here, so records are a bit difficult. Times were pretty good. It wasn't a very full river. Yeah.
All in all, you've seen the race improve dramatically.
Yes, over the years, the changes from when I was first involved are enormous. It's gone from a big canoe race in Natal to a major event. We're very, very pleased with it.
First easy, yes, sir.
Very hard. Tough life in Africa.
Man and his best friend was up early with the sparrows to attend to hairstyles or facial hair, have a quick cup of coffee, and then repair the canoe, if you can find it amongst this lot.
You just said, take me there, drop me off, meet me at the finish. You never said anything about seconding or cooking.
Hey, just some coffee, bud.
Did you have a coffee this morning? Just some coffee. Morning, yeah, great breakfast.
How was the night?
Great day, brilliant. A bit noisy, but yeah, we slept well, thank you.
There's Ellen the boy.
Hey, is that Brandy?
Claire, back to the left. How's the patchwork looking?
Not too good.
Think you'll make it today?
Oh, definitely, I have to.
Cap's going to go for a fry. Some late repairs?
Yes, late repairs.
What happened last night? Too much partying?
No, hey. Too much recovery. When you get to my age, you don't party anymore.
Think you'll make it today?
Oh, yes.
The boat, I mean?
Well, yeah, the boat should make it today. The boat should make it. Where the body? No, the body will make it too.
The girls do all the hard work and the boys play.
Is that one?
Is that right, sir?
That's nonsense. We paddle all day. Here we come and have to put up tents, take them down, make our own tea.
Not like that.
Not right. Tough race, huh? No, a good race. Very good race. But hopefully today's going to go a lot better.
A good night's sleep?
Besides the noise next door.
And the missus are helping? Money.
Yeah, well, no, fine. And then it was time to get down to serious business, as 0 hour approaches and the leaders were sent on their way. seeded according to their finish times from day one and sent off on elapsed time. First away was the overnight leader John Edmonds, who had a 12-second lead, as well as first woman Wendy White. They were followed by Kelby Murray, just 12 seconds adrift of Edmonds. The Scottsville grade 7 teacher had the same determined look on his face that he wore on day one. Second-placed woman Debbie Whitten was keen to make up the leeway between her and her 1996 and 98 doubles partner Wendy White. Martin Dre, who led for such a long way on day one, was still up there with the leaders. Some of the canoeists preferred to portage this section of the route, seeing that the Dusi Bridge was a compulsory takeout, deemed too dangerous to shoot. At the confluence of the Umzimduzi and Umgeni rivers, 1996 champion Kevin White, Neisner's Martin Dre and Adrian Enthoven lying third, fourth and fifth at this stage. Kelby Murray decided to stay on the water once the rivers had converged, but old campaigner 39-year-old and in his 22nd Dusi, John Edmonds, felt he would be better off keeping to the road, much to the delight of the locals. His lead was followed by the top contenders right behind him. Murray's decision appeared to have been the correct one, as he made up precious seconds on this section, tricky and dangerous as it was. Meanwhile, back at the start at Dusi Bridge, the fish and chips were still being sent off in batches. Just like the experts, some of them decided to take to the river, whilst others took the running option downstream past the Dusi Bridge and the put-in, which was compulsory. Like a never-ending line of ants, the army of boats just kept coming. These paddlers make up the bulk of the Dusi competitors, the paddlers who each have their own personal Dusi dream and goal to pursue.
Like your pen. Keep going, keep going. Yeah, wait, see.
After 10 Ks at the Marion Foley Bridge, John Edmonds was second, 1 minute and 5 seconds behind Murray, and he was desperately trying to get back the time he'd lost when he decided to portage Ibis Point. On Numani Hill, the gap between the two leaders was a little more than 60 beats, but Murray was going smoothly, bravely, and quickly. After 60 Ks of racing, the gap between Murray and Edmonds was down to a minute, with the next two paddlers, Kevin White and Martin Dre, sans Enthoven, 1 minute and 57 seconds back from the pace.
So Kelby Murray then, leader by quite a long way now. It'll be interesting to see what the gap is here at one of the most dangerous points of day two, Crombie Rapid.
Kelby was looking confident to lead it right to the end of day 2, but he still had John Edmonds chasing hard in second. Comfortably and confidently taken by the wily old fox. Kevin White in third place had to watch his back as Martin Day was following closely in his wake, waiting to capitalize on any little mistake by the former winner. As the leaders headed to the flat waters of the Inanda Dam, the bulk of the field still had a fair amount of obstacles to deal with. Hundreds of the 1,500 of them were still making their way to the overnight stop, and they were definitely not short of innovative ways to get to their destination, nor were they short of enthusiastic supporters lining the banks of the river, or different ways to negotiate rapids. And at the sharp end of the field, Colby came home to a rousing welcome and had amazingly succeeded in opening another 20 seconds on his pursuers. Last year's K2 winner was a tired but happy man.
A worthy winner and finish off the second day of the power.
Colby Murray, winner of day 2, and you've just been paid the ultimate compliment by the old warhorse John Edmonds for saying that you had an impressive day. Is that how you would sum up day 2 for you?
I was very happy. I was hanging in a bit across the dam. I kept on looking back. There were 3 of them working to try and catch me. And I just thought to myself, look, let's just go as hard as we can for as long as we can. And luckily it worked out for today.
Second, third and fourth could have been covered by the proverbial blanket, albeit a wet one. It was white, almost veteran Edmonds and a tired 30-year-old Dreyer. Debbie Witten, a psychology student at Maritzburg Varsity, had shown that she was mentally and physically as tough as they come. She had stormed to a 10-second lead.
It went exactly according to plan. I was hoping to make a bit of a gap at the confluence, which is exactly what happened, and then progressively just opened the gap on the paddle, which is nice.
With the hot sun and even hotter spectators awaiting them, the rest of the field seemed happy with the fact that the paddling was over, at least for day 2.
Really hopping. Thanks, Paul.
There you go. Well done. Another one.
6682. 6682, thank you.
Fine jobbing.
Let it go today.
I'm back. I'm tired.
What's your name, Sinner?
Rolf, Kevin.
Let it go today.
Serious paddle at the end.
Try it.
Oh,
Yeah, tomorrow?
oh, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'll go clean that.
Just fun, thanks.
Oh, quite tired.
I'm very good. Well done. I hope so.
Well, the wind's alright, it's just I'm destroyed it. I'm completely annihilated. Alright, so tomorrow I think it's a bit shorter. You have no idea. You have no idea. That shallows is ridiculous.
It was a long day, but it went alright, yeah. Started with a bit of a mess, but otherwise it went very well, yeah, thanks. Boat's 100%, just a little ding in the nose, but nothing that can't be fixed overnight.
Yeah, you can be ready for tomorrow?
Absolutely, yes, yeah. Alright, thanks. It was the longest day of Dusi ever.
Okay. You still fit? No. Tired? Yeah. Be ready for tomorrow. Be ready for tomorrow. Yeah.
A couple of swims today, but otherwise quite smooth. Yeah.
You feeling strong?
Well, after rest I'll be back again.
Hey, yeah.
What's your name and surname?
Lauren Simmons.
How did it go today?
It was great, except for the last part. Yeah, it was really hard. So.
You ready for tomorrow?
Yes. Tomorrow's all the big stuff, so it's great. Thanks.
Not bad. It's quite windy towards the end, yeah. Still going strong.
Ready for tomorrow?
Yeah, we're going to give it a one.
The morning of day 3, and many a paddler needed a kickstart to get them in the right mood for this final stretch to the sea. But maybe this was overdoing it slightly. On the other hand, maybe he overdid it the night before.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
It's not too yards.
Up ahead, just more than 40 kilometers. The first 20 minutes here on the dam, very, very important as the men and women make their way down to Blue Lagoon. We caught up with the top contenders, and Colby Murray with a healthy lead, but he says it's not over till you cross the finish line.
The Dusi is a fickle race. Anything can happen, but I'm going to go out there and try my best.
My paddling is not that strong, so Burma, even though it's a tough climb, is maybe a rest from paddling, and maybe you'll be a bit stronger on the paddle into Durban.
Debbie's too strong. I knew all along. I mean, I've only done about 6 weeks training at a push, so I just knew that I was never really going to be strong. I was lucky on the first day because I could do a bit of running.
Debbie, that's probably the ultimate compliment, your K2 partner, winning partner, giving you that kind of advice. Is it all over and done?
No, it's never over till you cross the finish line, so the race is still on.
A good old-fashioned skottelbraai for breakfast, in style as well. And on the run in and a shower, a blowtorch for drying fiberglass repairs to an almost race-ready boat, and a well-wisher from a different era. 17-year-old Glenn Jenkins in 6 was also from another era.
Depending what Volek does, I think he's going to go around, but if we catch the leading bunch before that, then I might follow them.
Yeah, it's going to be on TV today, Duncan.
What's flying ahead for the day?
Ready for the next day.
That's your own recipe.
Ja, so.
Very nice.
Something for the day. We did it allemaal eet, want dis nie baie hoor jy so. Vleis bietjie omdraai, brand. Ja.
Let's say carb loading.
That's our number 1 paddler over there. Well, that's the 2 of them. Not like it. Don't tempt him. $100, yes. Come on, Jeff.
TV cameraman.
He's going to come like this.
Sugar's not too good though.
1 and 2. And those are there. It looks like this.
One there.
On the catwalk, yeah.
The leaders were on their way to the first compulsory portage of the day at the top of the dam wall, and on their way to who knows what, with a tough 42-kilometer haul ahead. First off, it was Murray and Whitten. At At Tops Needle, it was still overnight leader Kelby Murray in front with 93 and 95 winner Kevin White, followed by newcomer Martin Dreyer and three-time winner John Edmonds in second. Edmonds again showing all his skill. But at the tricky side shoot, the 27-year-old schoolteacher Murray took the wrong line and paid the ultimate price. And with White, Dreyer and Edmonds bearing right down on him and his canoe drifting away, his chances for the 1999 title also went downstream. White, paddling in his 14th Dusi, pounced gratefully and went by smoothly. Ditto for 30-year-old Martin Dreyer, who was relying on his running strength at Burma Road, and then John Edmonds also went by. He was also saving himself for the big climb up the big hill. Debbie Whitten, who chose a different line through side shoot, almost hit disaster too, but she managed to recover quickly after a slight altercation with some big rocks. Back at the Inanda Dam wall, the later batches turned the road into a very dangerous place, with everybody scrambling to get their boats back in the water at Tops Needle. One team who had no trouble at all to make their way over the rocks was Oscar Chalupsky and partner Dr. Kamalu, who had a lot of help from their little friends. Tubile Ngwani, who's completed 2 Dusis before, but this was her first in a K1 singles canoe. She was going strong. But for others, there was still a long day ahead and a lot of breathing underwater. White in second place hung in through Umzanyati Rapid, but only a really serious mistake by women's leader Debbie Whitten would give her a chance at the title. Three-quarter way through, Graham Pope Ellis threw Umzanyati with his well-known smooth style of paddling, as well as another veteran of the Dusi, Robert Lembete, who also made it look like a paddle on a smooth dam. But there were those who once again had to get out and empty the boat for the umpteenth time. Judging by the noise, one could predict who had arrived as national soccer star Dr. Kamalu started to look very at home in the back of the boat. Maybe Bafana should all try this. Tubile Ngwani also made it through without any sweat, as she was getting closer to being the first black woman to complete this tough event in a singles canoe. Burma Road takeout with a hot and tough 6K run ahead, White took out and started his run. Dreyer was in hot pursuit, but at the top, a hugely impressive run took the Neisner man into the lead for good.
On the tortuous climb then of Burma, the last big obstacle on the way to Blue Lagoon, it's Martin Dreyer, the professional fisherman who's fishing for his first Powerade Dusi Canoe Marathon title and looking like he may just pull this off.
A weary and thirsty Kevin White knew that his chance to win the 99 Powerade Dusi was also slipping away. He was 3 minutes down in just 5Ks. Edmonds, running machine as he was, could also not respond either. He was 4 minutes back. Meanwhile, Volek, who in 12 Dusis had never finished in the top 3, was flying along around Burma, but he was 6 minutes down on the Neisner man at the sharp end of the field. In pursuit, Edmonds only saw the back of Martin Dreyer, who is now gunning for the finish. A lonely Kelby Murray followed in 7th place, knowing that his chances of catching the leaders had slipped away with the current. Just outside Durban, a new portage section was one of the last obstacles as the river was blocked by water hyacinth. Dreyer could almost hear the crowds at the finish and knew that he had the race in the bag, bar any disaster. At Blue Lagoon, he steamed home 3 minutes and 36 seconds ahead and earned himself around 25,000 Rand for his 3 days of strife. Kevin White took his first ever second place in the K1s, while Volek realized the dream by taking a top 3 place and outsprinting John Edmonds in the process.
Martin Dreyer, that was one heck of a performance. I guess I should give you a hand and say congratulations and well done. The run at Burma was obviously the most important of the whole lot. And did you think you could put as much time into them as you did?
No, I really didn't. But I knew that is where I had to make my break. And when Kevin was ahead of me at the takeout, I was a bit worried because I thought he wasn't going to let me go past. But then at the quarry, there's a bit of a gap, and I just went past him, and then I didn't look back.
Does this exceed your wildest expectation?
Definitely. I was only hoping for a top 10, but I can't complain.
How long and how hard did you have to work for this? Put that in context first.
Since April last year, I had it as a goal that I wanted to do well in the Dusi, and then I just used the Berg and the Breda as long distance as a base, and then sort of towards August I started running quite hard and a lot of heel work, and did some of the races up here a few months ago. Yeah, just lots of long distance and lots of heel.
Debbie Whitten also recorded her maiden victory after a great last day, and her 16-minute winning margin confirmed her dominance of the 1999 event.
Debbie Whitten, 7th time lucky. Nice to finally win a K1 all by yourself.
It's excellent. It's been my dream for years now, and it's nice to get it right.
I saw out there on the water that your dad and the support team were there all the time. Obviously, they make up a great part of a race such as this.
It's impossible to do a Dusi competitively without a good support team, and this year they were phenomenal. They were everywhere, and I just got wet, drenched from head to toe.
Looking at the way you went around Burma, you were so impressive in the water. Just how well do you know this river?
Basically, I grew up on it. I've been paddling in it since I was 5, so I know it fairly well.
And will you and the woman that you relegated to second this time, Wendy White, team up again next year for the K2?
I hope so, because it's a lot easier. We're in the same boat.
Graham Pope Ellis with another victory in the Masters division and looking as fresh as before the race just 3 days earlier. 9-time Comrades Marathon winner Bruce Fordyce was also becoming a regular face at the Dusi in the celebrity race. And there was plenty of support for Dr. Kumalu, who could safely say that he was no longer a novice in this very grueling challenge. But spare a thought for 27-year-old Colby Murray, who finished in 7th place after his brilliant performance on the first 2 days.
You know when you have a really bad day. I tend to have a really good day or a really, really bad day. I was going alright, I felt fine. And I just must have taken the wrong line down the slide and just caught me off balance. And I tried to recover after that swim, and I think maybe I went a little bit hard to try and catch up again. But it's just one of those things, that's what's easier.
Another exceptional performance came from high school student 17-year-old Len Jenkins, who won the junior category with a great 5th place overall.
Len Jenkins, that's a heck of a performance. Tell us how you feel now that it's all done.
It was very tough. I was only expecting top 20, came through top 5. Yeah, very tough.
I think there's another Len Jenkins, your old man, who will be even more tough than you today.
Yes, I think so.
The 3rd woman home at Blue Lagoon was Western Province's Malherbe with a time of 11 hours and 27 minutes. Eventually, almost all of the 1,500 paddlers came home, amongst them celebrities like Springbok hooker John Allen, as well as veteran Robert Limbete, whose efforts in promoting the sport has led to the participation of people like Chief Mlaba, who's the chief in the valley and who has ensured the confirmed existence of the race. And he completed it himself this year.
Beat each other. I can't identify them at the moment, but when you think that they've been going for 8 hours, 52 minutes, and you've got to concede to somebody by 3 or 4 seconds, you cannot be conceded. Roy Pepper, Robert Lauria, Graham Montero. 6:57.
Very well, fantastic. Yeah, we had a lovely 3 days, no swims, everything went well, yeah.
Back next year?
Well, you better ask him.
Sure, many more.
Just a note to all the folks that have lost.
How did it go? Very nicely. Been fine all 3 days. Back next year? Yeah, for sure.
No, I won't be back.
With a very large crowd here at the Blue Lagoon, bringing in the rest of the more than 1,500 paddlers who took part in the 1999 Powerade Dusi Canoe Marathon, crowning a brand new winner in Martin Dreyer from Neisner. It's Arnold Gertz and the rest of the crew saying goodbye until next time from the Blue Lagoon and the finish of the 1999 Dusi.